Hello, I am Chris Krieger, and this is going to be a little bit of a different video for me. I am going to do an unboxing during the video, but it's going to be of a fountain pen. I'm going to start off talking a little bit before I get into it. A little bit of history. When I was younger, I used to have a little bit of a hobby of writing with quills. It wasn't necessarily calligraphy, I just was into writing in general, and decided it would be fun to write with a quill and an inkwell. Kind of would write letters, write different things, seal them with a wax seal, all the old-fashioned fun things. And I dropped out of it for a while, but a little over a year ago, I saw a fountain pen on Kickstarter and thought it would be really cool to get this fountain pen, kind of like writing with a quill. It has the nib on the tip and everything. And side note, I am by far not a pen expert. I'm certainly an appreciator of nice pens. I love when a pen writes very smoothly on paper and just leaves a nice smooth line of whatever color it's writing in. It's so nice. But so I saw this fountain pen and it's like, hey, cool! I'm totally gonna back this. It was like $37. This guy claimed to have designed the pen all himself, got it put together. This high quality fountain pen. I was like, all right, cool. When it finally came, it had the little cartridges, the little refills, I guess, that are pre-filled. Just pop them in and go. They didn't work very well. I could barely get any to come out. It wasn't writing pretty much at all. Pen looked nice, but just wasn't functional. So I got tired of it, threw it in a box, figured I'd come back to it later. This past December, I moved into a new apartment, and I found that pen in a box. Decided to give it another try, so I went and bought an inkwell. I bought Parker ink. It's a nice little big old thing of black ink here. And I filled the pen, and it still wouldn't write. It would write a little bit. It was really kind of almost watery. It came out almost thin in a way. It just wasn't consistently writing either. So I looked it up online, and I found a few reviews of apparently there was some controversy around the pen. It wasn't really apparently an original design, and people had broken pens, and they just weren't satisfied with it in general. If you're curious, that pen was the Visionaire. I still have it. I might do something with it. I don't know. But I did some research and I found another video of someone doing the top 5 pens for newbies to the fountain pen hobby. And one of those pens was by Pilot. 2 of those pens were actually by Pilot, I believe, maybe 3. Pilot's good pen company. Everyone knows the G2. I mean, come on, the G2 pen is pretty much anyone's go-to pen when they want a nice, normal, cheap pen to go for that writes really nicely. So I went out to some stores. I went to Office Depot. They barely had anything. They had like a calligraphy pen, maybe 2, and one like cross fountain gift pen that came with a ballpoint pen in a box that just didn't look like it was going to be very high quality. And so I went looking around at other places. I looked at your normal retail outlets like Target and Walmart and a bunch of other places. I looked in a craft store and they didn't really have anything. Um, Finally, I made the longer trip to Staples, and they had pretty much every kind of ink and refill under the sun. But they still only had a couple of calligraphy pens, and they did have one of the pens on his list, the Pilot Varsity. This is a disposable fountain pen, which is kind of awesome, if you ask me. They're all medium nib, I believe. You can kind of get a look of what it looks like there. Almost completely plastic construction except for the actual nib itself. But let me tell you, when I actually bought these, it was like $8 for 3 of them, a black, a blue, and a purple. Um, I couldn't be more satisfied with a disposable pen. It's really nice. It writes really consistently. I'm going to do something a little unorthodox. My webcam is built into my laptop. I'm working on getting a new one. Anyway, I don't edit my videos, so you're going to get to see all of my silliness. It's just part of my charm. Anyway, um, I'm going to tilt it down so you can actually see me write a little bit with it. So this pen is very, very nice in the way it writes. Very even, very nice. I love the way it comes across the paper. See if I can get a little As long as you're not at too crazy of an angle, it writes very nicely, it writes very smoothly, and it's pretty reliable so far. I have the blue one at work, and I love it. I've used it for a couple days now, and it's just amazing. But after my searches for fountain pens, I decided I was going to go ahead and order one of the other pens that was on his list, and that is the Pilot Metropolitan. It's a more nice, elegant looking pen. Looks more like what you would think a fountain pen would look like. Nice body to it, metal body, nice different paint jobs in different colors. And that's what I'm going to unbox right now. It came in the mail. It's in this silly mailbox. I'm going to cut this open and take a look. And if I can, I'm going to fill it with ink and try to use it right here on my silly video. So there we go, cutting into it. Pop, pop, pop. Alright, so get rid of all this junk. Here is my Pilot Metropolitan pen. Comes in this nice little box, but I believe there is another box within this box that's even nicer. Okay, so that's everything. So you've got a little booklet here, which I may or may not get to, the user guide. But look at this nice gift box it comes in. See if I can get camera to pick up very nicely. Look at that. This is the White Tiger. So, not usually one to get animal themed things, but as a kid, and even now, I always thought white tigers are pretty awesome. It's just one of those things that if there was an animal I really liked, it was either eagles or white tigers. And saw this pen, was going to get a black one or just a silver one, but white was just the way I had to go with the white tiger print there. So my light's pretty bright. It's hard to get the camera to focus on here, but you can see it's a very nice looking pen. Very nice case. It does have what looks like one pre-filled cartridge here, so I could try to use that if I wanted to. I'm actually going to save that for now. Try to tuck it back in here if I can, and set this very nice display case to the side. So it's got this nice black area where it grips, and it is a nice nib there. Got a fine nib, so it's a very nice looking pen. It's very comfortable the way I hold my fingers. Let me set the cap to the side here and see if we can get into the nitty gritty insides of it. So I unscrew it, and it has, set that to the side. It looks like it has a squeeze converter. I don't want to break it, so I'm going to look at this book here real quick to make sure. See if it says anything about removing it. Ballpoint fountain pens. Remove empty cartridge by pointing the nib upward and pulling straight down while holding the neck. Firmly insert a new cartridge by putting it in straight without turning or twisting. Otherwise, valve may not open. You may feel or hear a slight click when the cartridge is fully inserted. Okay, so straight up and down. Pull down. Aha! Oh, popped out very nicely there. Alright, let's see. See if it says anything about filling it. Using a plate press standard converter with an ink bottle. Unscrew, remove it, while holding the pen vertically. Firmly insert the converter. Oh, so the converter is supposed to be inserted when you do this. I see. Well, then I should not have taken it apart. Hopefully it's good and in there. The fun joys of not reading the instructions first. Always read the instructions first, folks. Don't be that guy who doesn't. And it says to, while holding the pen vertically, immerse the nib into ink up to the tip of the neck. Press the plate of the converter and release it, allowing the ink to be absorbed into the tube of the barrel. Absorption will be completed when the tube restores to its original shape. Filling the ink converter may be difficult or impossible when the ink supply in the bottle is low. In this case, opening a new bottle is recommended. Replacing it, hold the neck of the pen with the nib pointing upward and slowly remove the converter, twisting it slightly. Oh, that's for replacing it with an ink cartridge. So what happens with all the ink that's going to be around the nib here? That's going to be a lot of ink. I guess I'm supposed to wipe that off. I don't really have anything to wipe it off with at the moment. But let's see what happens. Maybe it'll just drain off nicely. So I've got my big old bottle of ink here. Insert the pen. Squeeze. Alright. I guess that was that. The ink drains off of it fairly nicely, I guess. And kind of tap it on the side of the bottle here. Get some ink out. Set my ink down again. I'm also wearing a black shirt, so I'm not really worried about, underneath of this shirt. I could just wipe it on that. Let's see. I'm going to screw it back together here. Alright. I'm just going to wipe it with a finger, because why not? Ink on the fingers never hurt anybody, right? Alright. Now let's see if I can get writing with it. I'm going to do a little test on my own. Oh my goodness, instantly. Let's move some stuff and bring this down so you can see just how nicely this writes. That is so nice. So, my first impressions, it filled very nicely. Instantly started writing. If I continue writing, it's just such a smooth line. I am inclined to agree. It's just the way the ink comes onto the page. It's just, I love it. This is going to be such a fantastic pen. If you're interested or have any questions, let me know. That's going to be about it for the video. I'm actually quite impressed with this, and it has a nice satisfying click when it goes back in, and sits nicely in the pocket. So that's my opening and sort of first impressions of the Metropolitan pen from Pilot Pens USA. I'm not in any way sponsored or anything by them, by the way. I just took someone's advice. If I had the name, I would let you know. You should be able to find them pretty easily as a top result if you search for top 5 newbie pens, newbie fountain pens. But I highly recommend the Pilot Varsity. It's a very nice disposable pen. If you really want a pen that writes nicely and you're used to using a fountain pen or you want to try out a fountain pen, please go for the Varsity. You can probably find it at a Staples or maybe another office supply shop. If you're really interested in getting started with a full-out fountain pen, my first impression is that the Metropolitan lives up to the little bit of hype that I got from that top 5 video. It's very nice. It was only about $15, and it comes in a variety of styles. You also have the option of buying one of the more traditional converters that twists to pull the ink up into the converter. If you don't like the squeeze converter, which may or may not pull in as much ink, and you can't really tell how much ink you've pulled in. But 5 minutes maybe, I pulled that pen out, dipped it into the ink, drew some ink into it, and it wrote fantastically. I couldn't ask for too much more. That'll be it for this video. If you have any questions or any suggestions for fountain pens, maintenance, care, or just some really awesome fountain pens that you think I should try out, let me know in the comments. As always, be respectful, and until next time, I am Chris Krieger, and thanks for watching.